I'm no stranger to being humbled and, spending an hour and a half cutting together what I think are some of my funniest moments. Playing not just once, but twice to a crowd that was completely silent was very humbling, so thank you all very much. No, I'm just kidding. I'm so excited to be here because Indian River High School, I think, is a big part of who I am. But it was challenging to figure out exactly what to say to you folks because, to be honest, I did not have what many of you would consider a traditional path to success, if you could call what I do success. And speaking of success, there are so many people, notable figures who have come from Indian River High School. You've got Alonzo Mourning, former NBA star. You've got former SNL cast member Jay Farrow. Those guys were busy tonight though, so you got me, the host of a talk show that most of you have never heard of. But I think I want to start off by talking a little bit about my journey after high school. I graduated in 2012, by the way, which that means that most of the students in this room were ages 3 to 7 at that time, so welcome to the real world. It's good to meet all of you. And that's also the year that the Avengers came out, the first Avengers, so I was 18 years old when that movie came out. Time is a cruel thing. After high school, I thought I had it all figured out, and I think a lot of you can probably relate to that feeling. I spent my whole high school career being very passionate about music, playing in the orchestra, and I had decided that I wanted to be a music teacher, so I went to Old Dominion University to study musical education. And, obviously that's not what I do now, so, what speed bumps did I hit along the way? And I think it's difficult not to tell somebody's life story in the form of speed bumps, right? Because life is an ever-changing, fluid experience, and we all see a lot of different things. I can't even nail down the moment when I figured out that music education wasn't what I wanted to do, but I left school, entered the workforce, which felt like the other option, right? And I did that for a few years, and I was just trying to figure out who I was, and I was very fortunate. I did a cold call to the Chesapeake City Department of Communications one day. They have a small TV station where they produce programming to inform the people of Chesapeake about what's going on. And I asked them if they had a job. I very enthusiastically, like a good young man would, I asked, hey, do you guys have a spot for me? And they were like, no, we don't. But they told me I could come in and learn stuff for free as sort of an unofficial, unpaid emphasis on the unpaid intern. And I got started in TV that way, behind the camera. When I went to WTKR back in 2017, I was part-time, really wasn't making good money, worked as a director for 5 years, and I was passionate about it. I really love visual media, and I'd always been a fan of movies and TV shows, and it felt so cool to be able to actually do some of the work that people don't know about. And TV news is a lot of fun. And about a year and a half ago, I transitioned to this role on air, and it's been a wild ride. I'm 29 years old, which either, depending on your age in this room, sounds really, really old or really, really young. So it's a unique place to be in. But I'm still a great student of life, I'm learning something new every day. It's a pretty cool experience. But it was not an easy one. It was not an easy journey for me. It was very difficult. And I think, my GPA was mentioned. It was not just above a 4.0, it was a 4.3993, but nobody's counting when they're keeping track. And if you look at my entry in the program here, it does say that my senior quote was, sometimes life necessitates a sacrifice of harmony, or a sacrifice of melody rather, to create the perfect harmony. I don't know what that means, and I probably stole it from somewhere on the internet. One thing I discovered in high school was that I had a love of performing, of being somewhat of a clown. And as you saw in the video there, Dr. Yardan Shabaz's public speaking course was a big influence in my life. I never thought that I would enjoy speaking to people. And it's, enjoy, it's still very scary. If you guys knew how much I was sweating right now, right now in this room, you'd be appalled. But there's something that's electric in the atmosphere when you're performing, and I never thought, I couldn't see the path, right, years down the line, where I would have an opportunity to be able to do this on TV for thousands of people each day. I couldn't see that, right? When I was in high school, I thought being a music teacher was a path, right? After that, I thought just going into the workforce was the path. I couldn't figure it out. And I think that since, for students that, as you all do, perform well in academics, forgive me for speaking for you, but I think a lot of you have experienced an onset of pressure, right? The adults who care about you, your mentors, your family members, even your friends, try to make sure that you're planning things correctly for the rest of your life. And sometimes the burden of having a plan can prevent you from actually accomplishing one. I don't know if that makes sense, but just that pressure can make you kind of want to shut down. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Yeah, a few hands go up. That's how I felt. And even though I was really, good at school, again, as many of you are here, that didn't feel like it was going to be useful to me in my life. But as somebody now, 11 years later, I can tell you that the experience that I had here at Indian River, it in many ways defines the person that I grew up to be. And that's the mission I want to leave with you guys, is that you have to be present in life. Don't let it pass you by. Having a plan is important. For many of you, you're going to go on to a trade school or a local community college or a four-year university, or go straight into the workforce and start your career, and that's going to be a big, important step in your life. And if you're able to have a plan in high school and stick to it, then I commend you, because that's something that a lot of us can't do. But for some of you, it may be more difficult. It's going to be more trial and error. That's what it was for me. And only now, with the benefit of hindsight, can I see that things like taking Dr. Shabaz's class taught me the things that I loved about myself, the things that I was good at, right? What I enjoyed doing. And I had foolishly assumed that there was no way I could have those things, right? And I think a lot of people, especially here in Virginia, we're not in a big city, it's hard to have dreams of being on television. I thought it was never going to come true. You guys, if you're like me, you'll end up as an adult with a lot of student debt that you're going to be paying off for the rest of your life. So don't ignore the excellent education that you're receiving right now here at Indian River High School. Like I said, this school, it has informed so much of my own personality. I feel like I owe so much to the educators here who took the time to nurture me, right, to teach me about responsibility and accountability. Those were lessons I needed to learn, and I didn't realize for a lot of years that I had learned them within the walls of this lovely school. Whatever setbacks you face in life, if you're here at this assembly right now, it means that you have it within you to work hard enough, to stick with it when it gets tough, and to make it to the end of the line. And the cool thing about life is that the end of the line often keeps moving. And rather than having a 5-step plan that determines the rest of your life, I would urge you to simply try to be the best at whatever you're doing at any given moment. Be the best version of you that you can be, and just keep your eyes open. And when a choice is presented in front of you between one path or another, make the best decision you can. And if you just rinse and repeat that process for the rest of your life, I think you'll be pretty proud of who you become. That's all that I have to say, guys. Thank you so much tonight.